I think it's implied that if he wants to stop Chinese expansion, they're an adversary of the United States.
No, he said they're a rival. Has he called China our enemy?
Hey.
How you doing, Charlie? Thank you for coming out today. I think I'm going to be the first disagreement. So,
thanks for being here.
Thank you. My question is, so during the presidential campaigns, Trump and Republicans criticized Biden by saying that he was going to be soft on China. So far, I just wanted to list out some things that he's done against China and then get your opinion on that. So he condemned the Uyghur genocide right off the bat, Secretary Blinken did. And he's waging a tech war with China right now by reevaluating our supply lines of microchip production so we're not relying on China. As of 5 hours ago, they've raised the idea of boycotting the Olympics in China. And he's raised the idea of a conference of democracies to curb Chinese expansion, whether that be military or influential, like what they're doing in neocolonialism in Africa. And
this student sound prepared, bro. This is gonna be a good video. This student sounds prepared. Let's see how Charlie Kirk responds, because from my perspective, and let me preface this by saying I don't know a lot about politics. I don't. This is why I do videos. I'm a college student who doesn't know a thing about politics, whatever. It sounds like this student's prepared and that he knows Biden's doing good things. So, to me, it sounds good, but let's see.
This isn't something that's different for Biden. He has a history of supporting genocide victims. So if you take a look at what he's done with the Bosniaks in Bosnia when he supported them in the war, or the Albanians in Kosovo, I mean, he has a really strong history of standing with oppressed people. So do you think these criticisms now that you know all these things that he's doing, do you think they're sort of falling flat, at least with the China thing?
Is that the whole list?
No, there's more. I just wanted to pick like as many as I could in 20 minutes.
Okay, yeah. Has he called China our enemy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's implied.
No, he hasn't. He said it's rival.
I think it's implied that if he wants to stop Chinese expansion, they're an adversary of the United States.
No, he said they're a rival. Has he called China our enemy?
I think that's just a semantic argument.
No, it's not. He said, I refuse to call them an enemy because they're an economic rival. Let me ask you another question.
Hey. Hey.
He signed an executive order trying to close Confucius Institutes in America.
The Confucius Institutes is an ongoing debate right now, so we'll have to
No, it's a very simple debate. They're military institutions on college campuses, and Joe Biden supports them in America. Let me ask you another question. Does he support tariffs on imported Chinese goods, yes or no?
He supports a tech war. Tariffs?
No, tariffs. Answer the question.
Probably not, no.
Okay, right, so that's soft on China. When Blinken went up to Alaska to meet with China, did he even respond when China made a fool of our country and said we're a bunch of racist bigots, according to our own language? Did he respond to that?
Yes, they did.
How?
Well, they replied to it.
By admitting it and basically saying to China, you know what, you're right, we have a lot of problems to correct.
But we...
Bro, okay. At first, I was like, okay, Biden's doing a lot of great things, but if what Charlie Kirk is saying is true,
he always correct them. For example, the civil rights. I mean, look how far we came from the Civil War.
Are you comparing what's happening right now to Jim Crow, the 1960s?
No, I'm saying we have a dark history, but we've come far from it.
I agree with that. So let me just ask another couple questions, because has Joe Biden supported military movements in the South China Sea or stood with the people of Taiwan as the Chinese Communist Party has threatened Taiwan to obliterate them off the face of the earth? No, they haven't.
Yes,
no, they haven't. So Taiwan has been singled out for destruction, and Joe Biden has done nothing to stand with the people of Taiwan. Let me ask you another question. Let me ask you a question. Has Joe Biden explained the now revealed emails that show that he's probably a 10% holder in a Chinese Communist Party company, thanks to Tony Bobulinski? Has Joe Biden explained that?
If they want to go to court for that, they can.
No. I'm asking has Joe Biden explained that he's probably a minority?
He doesn't have to. I would want him to explain that. I would really want someone to explain that. What do you mean he doesn't have to? Why? I want him to. What? And it's okay if you support President Biden. It's okay. But if someone is bringing up claims that are literally not in the best interest of our country, or I'm not going to say literally, subjectively not in the best interest of our country, then shouldn't you as a supporter at least have some type of answer for that? Something? At least say, you know what, that's wrong. I agree. That's wrong. And he shouldn't have done that. It's nothing wrong with saying that. People are people. They're going to be like, you know what, I support people who've done wrong things. Like, my favorite NBA team sucks. They don't win any games. But I still support them, and I know they suck. But as a Biden supporter, or as a Trump supporter, or whatever supporter, your person is not 100% perfect. But if you just ignore the bad things they do,
minority partner in a Chinese Communist Party.
He doesn't have to explain it until he's formally accused of it in a court of law. I think unsubstantiated claims shouldn't be entertained. Wouldn't you agree?
It's substantiated. It's a laptop that was owned by his son.
Well, why don't they take it to court?
They are. And so let me ask you another question though. So your basic premise is Joe Biden's totally tough on China. Everything, yeah, that's basically your contention.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the premise was that he's going to be extremely soft. But
no, he's beyond soft. He's owned by China. He's not just soft on China. He's a subsidiary of the Chinese Communist Party. He's an employee of the Chinese Communist Party. So everything Xi Jinping wants, we are doing. He is pandering to racial division in our country. He's emasculating our military. He's caring more about wokeism than military excellence. He does nothing in the South China Sea. He's not putting any additional tariffs. In fact, he's trying to repeal them that Donald Trump put on steel and solar panels for imports into America. Joe Biden is doing the bidding of Xi Jinping at every single turn. So let me ask you just another couple questions. Has Joe Biden in any way, shape, or form condemned the Belt and Road Initiative, or has Joe Biden admitted that the virus came from China?
The Belt and Road Initiative would be covered under that curbing Chinese expansion, which I mentioned earlier. I think you're trying to play a very semantic game right now with did he condemn this specifically when he broadly condemns general expansion?
What you call semantics, I call truth.
Okay, you know what? He says he's playing with semantics. You can possibly say that. However, he listed about 10 things that President Biden has done. He's listed like 10 things back to back to back. Not only did you not refute not one of them, you said one doesn't matter. If he had information on his computer where he's a 10% owner of a Chinese country or a Chinese communist organization, you said that doesn't matter. You didn't acknowledge anything he said. He was going on for about 2 minutes. I didn't even pause it when he was going on. He's going for like 2 minutes straight of things Biden has done. And you said, you're basically saying that doesn't matter at all. Which it definitely matters. This is not semantics. This is not wordplay. These are real things for 2 minutes straight that he said.
Because language is the way that we communicate values with one another. So let me ask you this question. Has Joe Biden admitted that the Chinese coronavirus came from the Wuhan Institute of Virology?
If evidence shows that, he will admit
No, has Joe Biden even mentioned the fact that this virus came? You're wearing a mask up to your eyeballs.
Yeah.
Is that because of China or not?
Well, I think it did come from China, but where it came from originally in China,
so
whether it was
let me ask you a question.
or man-made,
What has Joe Biden
is
done to hold China accountable for the greatest epidemiological Pearl Harbor in American history?
We'll have to see. It's only like 2 months into his presidency.
See. So
this was 2 months into a presidency. You can say that. It's been about 4 years at this point, and this is a question. What has he done? What has he said about that? And this is a question. This is not me implying he didn't do anything. This is a real question. I want to know, what has he done based off of this? Did he say it was from China? Ever? Did he? This is a question. I want someone to answer this. Please answer this. Please.
Let me get this straight. China invokes an epidemiological Pearl Harbor, and we'll have to see.
I have a question for you though over that. Trump, in return, in the Taiwan, 2 questions. Taiwan.
We're talking about the virus. I would like your.
Yeah, I know.
The virus is really important.
Yeah, it
right?
is.
Obviously, you take it seriously, and so is China to blame?
I think China is to blame. Yeah.
Why can't Joe Biden say that?
Because it's a very diplomatic issue. He has to wait until the evidence is there. It's where he can
make a diplomatic issue.
A diplomatic issue between another country. Your country is suffering from a pandemic, a literal pandemic. I've never even heard the word pandemic before 2020. And you're saying it's a diplomatic issue, when it's a fact that has happened.
Could you imagine after Pearl Harbor, Franklin Delano Roosevelt? You know, it's a diplomatic issue that Pearl Harbor was bombed.
I think it was clear that the Japanese intentionally attacked Pearl Harbor, but whether the Chinese intentionally, which I believe they did, by the way, I believe they did.
Okay.
But until there's evidence to support that can be globally spread, I think it's irresponsible of Biden to make a statement on it. I think he's waiting for the facts to get out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's stunning. So you wanted to make a point about Taiwan.
Yeah, so you said, has he condemned the Chinese aggression against Taiwan? And yes, in the town hall, he mentioned that he condemns the Chinese trying to violate the one China or the two China policy with China and Taiwan. He condemned it in the town hall. And then I also wanted to ask you one follow-up question with Trump. Yeah. Trump, in an Axios report, allegedly, gave the Chinese a green light for their actions in Hong Kong and the Uyghur genocide in exchange for better leverage in his trade deal, which ultimately flopped, I believe. Okay. What do you think about that?
It's not true.
Well, I mean...
Well, first I said allegedly and reportedly.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump was more tough on China than any other president in American history. And he was unafraid to call it the China virus.
And here's another thing that confuses me. What do you mean allegedly and reportedly? And this is a real question, because if a president says something, or if a person says something, like if I say something in this video, of course there's a context, but this is literal proof of what I'm saying. It's my recording, it's my voice. So when it comes to what Donald Trump said, how could it be alleged? You could just hear him say it, or you can just have it transcripted. How is it alleged? He either said it or he didn't say it. So what do you mean? And this is a real question. What do you mean? Because when you have a book, if a book says something, it's not alleged, it just says it. If a video says something, it's not alleged, it just says it. So when it comes to a president, how is it alleged? Did he say it or did he not say it?
Joe Biden has always been very close to China. He said that, quote, China's rise is a good thing for America. Can you explain, I'm curious, take as much time as you need, if you have any problem with the president's son flying on Air Force Two with Chinese bank officials and returning on Air Force Two with $2 billion in an investment fund? Does that bother you?
So when I just mentioned allegedly and reportedly, you denied it as being fake.
It's not true. Like I don't
It's
know.
not true. I agree.
But guess what? Joe Biden's
alleged.
president, so let's focus on who's in charge right now.
Exactly.
Right? So is Hunter Biden,
alleged, yeah.
like, can you explain that for me? Because I'm really interested.
Yeah, so all of those things are also allegations, right? And it's kind of hypocritical for you
I
to
just said
uphold one but
facts.
not the
I didn't
other.
say that there was pay to play. I said,
They're
we
not
know,
facts.
because of flight logs, Air Force Two, Chinese bank officials go on with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden.
They're not facts, though.
They fly to China, and 2 days later, he returns with $2 billion. Does that bother you?
But that's not a fact. If that is allegedly what happened.
You're entitled to your own
faith,
opinion, not your own facts. So tell me where I was wrong with that.
Out of good faith, if that is allegedly true, I have a problem with that, yes.
Well, then you should do a lot more research, man, because that's just the tip of the iceberg.
So how could you say it's not true? You're saying it's not true, but then you're saying if it is true, I have a problem with it. So obviously, you don't know if it's true or not. You have no idea if it's true or not. But anyways, I'm going to end this video here. If you like videos like this, subscribe to my channel. It's LFR Jojo.